All right, family. Happy Sunday, y'all. We are so excited for everybody to join us today. We've already been live this morning with our Sunday worship, but we are live this morning on our Better Business panel. I have some business powerhouses that are all around the country, all of them doing great in their respective places. And we have been in a theme of rebuilding. I think that's been the focus of many people's lives over this last year. We have had to endure through this crazy pandemic that has affected everybody economically, it has affected us socially, it has affected us financially. It is still affecting us financially. I mean, I've had to go to three different stores just to get some new pants. Number one, my belly's a little fatter because of the pandemic, y'all. Let me be honest with you, right? So I can't fit my pants like I used to. But I went to the store to try to get some pants tailored, and they're like out of everything, right? Everything has slowed down. They can't get stuff in, they can't get products out, stuff can't get delivered. FedEx people still stealing anything, but we'll leave that one alone. But we've all had to do some changing. That's what I want to focus on. We've all had to do some changing, and even in our own personal life, we've had to rebrand and rebuild our focus for the future. And so I've got some folks hanging out with me today. Miss Caress Hudson, she's out of Pensacola, Florida, the owner of Henny Penny Patisserie. She is hanging out with us today. She is a rising star, not just a rising star. She is a business powerhouse, a Black woman in her own right, opened her own business and is thriving. She's on plenty of boards. I promise y'all will hear her later. She's hung out with us before, but she's hanging out with us again. My homeboy Elman Woodson, he is out of New York. I absolutely love him, known him forever. Woods, owner of Woodson Law Firm, and he has a coaching business. He'll talk to you all a little bit later. He's also the author of Look Up, my man, brand new book that came out this year. I want to make sure y'all get that. We'll make sure we'll put our link in. And then my brother, the owner of KMN Enterprises and Holdings, Montel Fleming. He's another Florida brother. He left New York, went down to sunny Florida so he could enjoy some sun while he's making that good money. I'm jealous, but I'm happy. All right, I'm jealous, but I'm happy. But he's hanging out with us today. And y'all, thank you so much for hanging out. We so appreciate y'all. But our goal is to get some information out there, because I know as I talk to people who are business owners, many of them are scared, right? Let's just tell the truth. They ain't gonna put it out there, but they are scared. They are unsure what the future looks like. And even further, they are unsure of what decisions or risks they should be willing to take in this environment. And all of you, I've known you personally. I know the risks that you have taken, the decisions that you've made, and the shifts that you've had to make to stay afloat. And not just stay afloat, thrive. And so we want to be in that vein. We want to be in that conversation today. Caress, I want to start with you today because I know, El, it's cool, bro. We all got families, man. Let little man come on in. Trust me, my man will be in here in a minute. What you say, Montel?
Mine just did the same thing.
It's here, bro. We still pandemic life, okay? No worries, bro.
Try to put toys in their hand, movies on, nothing works, man.
Caress, you had a storefront that was doing well in Pensacola, but a few months ago, I noticed that you shifted from your storefront property, and your focus is going in a different direction. Still same product, but going a different direction. Talk to us about that shift you've had to make, and why you've made that shift.
100%. Thanks again for having me on this morning. One of the things I think is important in all businesses is being able to adapt. To adapt in situations like this, your business model, despite how wonderful it might be, won't be successful. You've seen, and if you haven't seen the numbers, I've watched the numbers not only in Pensacola, but also across the United States, and seeing people are coming out, but not as much as they used to. They're scared because of pandemic issues, sanitation, We just not seeing some of the financial numbers that we're used to. So one of the things that I started watching is the government incentives that were available, and we'll say on the state level. And one of the things that Florida has available for businesses is they opened up an opportunity for cottage law, which raised the previous amount that people could make from their homes up to, I think it's at least up to 250,000 that you can make at home. So for business like mine, if you're talking about overhead and you're talking about other expenses, this is a wonderful way for me to be able to save money while the economy recovers, and then be able to re-enter with a lot of pocket change coming back. But what I've previously stated is that people have to be okay and adapting. People have to be okay with making these shifts, and also have to be quick with these decisions, because time is money, and being able save as much as you can during a pandemic is essential.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the fear is, what's going to be on the other side. I'm unfamiliar with making that shift, right? I know I got to make a shift. I see the opportunity, but not I've often said it. You got to grow being uncomfortable. You got to grow being comfortable with uncomfortability, right? Because I'm sure that's been a change in your family life. All of that has been a change, right?
100%. There's a lot of shifts, but I want to go ahead and throw this out there. And people have this fear of failure. You don't realize. I recently released on one of the top, I think it's like the top 10 new startups that have that people are watching right now with Forbes and investment companies. They're slated to make billions of dollars. Each of the top startup the founders have at least failed with at least 2 or 3 businesses prior to that.
Yeah.
So you can't be scared of failure, not being able to thrive or come back, because it's going to happen. But what you have to do is take notes and make sure you learn. During these transitions, it's important for small businesses to have conversations with their families, their kids, if you're parents. Let them know what's happening. Mom might be a little bit thin skinned for a little bit, so bear with me. Some things I might need some support around the house with how we're going to do things and make runs for picking up the children. Laying out not only your business plan, but also your family plan. How are we going to do this? What are the next 3 to 6 months going to look like in transition? And then sitting down, assessing where you are, and doing another analysis of what it's going to look like. So that way you can constantly stay ahead, balance family and business at the same time, and make it conducive for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that, making sure you're pulling everybody along. I think all of us have had to look within, right? No longer can we look without. We have to look within and see what value does my family, what value do we bring to the table? What value do I bring to the table? And what can we begin to do together that can bring some increase and success in our life? Elman, you and your wife are a prime example of individuals I've known who have made the shift. Talk to me about some of the things that you and your wife are doing, some shifting you've made, and what adjustments you've had to continue to make. I know that's a lot, right?
Yeah. But just to go along with what Koresh says so eloquently put, Liv and I have just almost revamped our life. And this last year during the pandemic, Liv started off in real estate, and boom, she's killing it now. And I started my law firm. Because I had previously been helping people do different things here and there, but up until that point, I was working in banking compliance. So I was in the banking world doing legal work, but it was like doing compliance work. And so during that time period, there was just so much going on. You had coronavirus, you had the George Floyd issue, you had the racial tension in this country, and all this news that was constantly being perpetuated and recycled every single day. At that point, I was like, you know what? I want to put some positivity out. And so I started just posting 5-minute motivations, and that kind of just trickled into a whole bunch of things. Now I've been asked to speak at different things, and now I'm just talking about mindset mastery. And so in addition to that, I've also joined this board where now I'm working with as a closely held business advisor. So as the legal guidance for businesses in terms of how they need to set themselves up. And so it's spawned off a lot of different things. And I finished my book. I started Look Up. I completed Look Up, and I got that out there. There's just been so many different things going on. But to piggyback on what Koresh just said, the whole idea about this, about the whole idea of us getting to this point is that we had to be truthful with each other, not just but more than that, truthful with ourselves, because we were going about these careers, but we weren't happy.
Yeah.
We were going about these careers, but we weren't free. We were going about these careers, and we were still longing for more. And what we had to do was, first of all, come to grips with that I had to come to grips with that in myself. Liv had to come to grips with that in her, and then we had to talk about it, because just like I said to us when we had our little conversation on Friday, I never want to be in a position where I'm hindering any of her dreams. And it's vice versa with her. She never wants to be in a position when she hinders any of my dreams. She always want to be supportive. So for example, when she told me she wanted to get into real estate, I was like, go for it. Like what are the steps? Let's do this. But if we do it, let's lay out a plan as to how it's going to work. Let's lay out a financial plan as to how we can make this happen. Let's lay out like what are our goals going to be for the first 3 to 6 months to have, to 12 months. Like what is it going to look like? And the whole idea is that, as you go on just for example, if you were going to go on a cruise, there's a destination point that you want to get to.
Yeah.
Now, you set the course, but you don't know what you're going to encounter: rough winds, a difficult ocean, and you always have to make adjustments. So as we go about this journey, see, now I feel like I'm preaching a little bit, but as you go about,
okay, bro. You want with a preacher? That's okay. Go ahead and preach a little bit. You good, bro?
As you go about this journey, as you encounter different things, the lines of communication have to be open. Not only what are you thinking, how are you feeling? Where is this business going? Do you feel like you still want to keep going? Like if you don't, like maybe we go for a few more weeks or something. Let's talk about it. Let's communicate, because you look. You have to communicate with others, but you also have to talk to yourself.
Yeah, you better talk to yourself.
Yes, because sometimes that might be the most logical conversation you have. So you gotta talk to yourself and be real with yourself. Be real with your partner. And so just in saying that, you have to constantly reset the sail, reset the direction in which you want to go, making sure that you're on course. And so like there's so many things that are jumping in my head, but one thing is that you set the sail, you constantly make the adjustments that you need to make, and you keep the lines of communication open. But that's all about vulnerability.
Yeah.
And the question is, what does vulnerability mean to you? Because see, I know as men, like I'm just speaking for myself, but like generally, that's one of the hardest things for us to do, is be absolutely vulnerable with who we are. Be absolutely vulnerable with what we want, what we're looking for. And at the moment that you can do that is at the moment that you can become free. And at the point that you do that, you can learn what it is that you want to express that. And I think that the biggest thing about this vulnerability is just that, like, it's pretty much you becoming 100% clear with who you are and what it is.
I think that's what the pandemic has done. It has pulled away fears. It's pulled away our insecurities. It's forced us to get back to the core of who we are, and really believe in who we are and what we offer and bring to the table. For even for myself, I've had to, pull away those ideas that other people had of me, other dreams and aspirations or ambitions that I've let other people put on me, right? And get back to the core of who I am. What is it that I bring to the table? Who is it that I bring to the table? And I think that's where the ability to thrive in business, I think the foundation starts in, right? If money is my only goal, right, I'll be willing to do anything to get the money. But if I value who I am and live out of who I am, really, money will be a secondary conversation. Montel, I see the gears moving in your head, bro. That shit. Share with us what's been on your mind, man. What's on your mind, bro?
I mean, honestly, bro, I'm happy always to be in these type of powerful, impactful conversations, as we always talk about, off channel as well as on. And I think what my sister Caress was actually stating and how she was speaking, and honestly piggybacking off of Elle, I think it's very important that, as a business, I tell people this all the time. I'm not just a business on the street. I'm a business at home. So my alignment in regards to my relationship with my boss lady, business lady, wife, as well, is very important, because in her career, she's been having to do pivots and a lot of crazy things and run teams, virtually from her from her Florida house here. But her New York team is spread all over the country right now, because everybody can work at various places. So we have conversations daily about pivoting, adjusting, how to still stay top of mind in regards to not just the people that we serve, but also our family, our connecting relationships, a lot of different things. So for us, it's been a blessing, obviously, to be able to have the resources and ability to do, as Chris said, is about stating and making some decisions where I can be home more than normal, because typically in my business, and as most of our business, I'm in the service industry, so it's mostly contact, day-to-day, in-person meetings, conversations. It's been challenging navigating that, but obviously things like StreamYard and other platforms allow us now to, hey, you don't have that as an excuse,
Right.
So,
right.
Realizing and stop looking at it as a negative. I was like, okay, well, I need to embrace some of this so I can still do my business. I can still thrive in an economy that you saw more wealth transfer to the top 1% in this country
Say it.
than in a pandemic, right? And so for me, it's like, okay, how is that? Most entrepreneurs know that every day you're looking and analyzing your data, as far as who's coming in your clientele base, who's coming in your storefront, obviously, as Chris was saying.
Yeah.
Or if you have an online store, Shopify, whatever, in your commercial or e-commerce space, the traffic that you're getting to your sites, that's basically a physical store as well. It's just not in person. So there's so many different things that you're realizing and analyzing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, to make sure that that, hey, here's where I'm at, here's where I need to be, here's my goals, here's how I need to adjust, here's some things that I might want to allocate resources to, because I need to be able to facilitate and maintain things and look long term. And to be honest with you, man, I don't even think, for me, it's not even about the next 3 to 6 months anymore. It's a 6 to 12-month plan now, because we don't know. When we first set out in this process, over 18 plus months ago, I was literally in real estate. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to get showings done? How am I supposed to look at properties in person? How am I supposed to do a lot of stuff? Do you know I did more transactions virtually in the last the 18 months than I've ever done in my career? We've been talking years. I've been doing this for 20 years. We've been talking years about doing things, electronically and different things. And we were able to do that in this period of time. I haven't been to one closing in the last 18 months.
Wow.
Right. But I've had some of my biggest, earning times in the last 18 months in my industry, in my career. Right. And I'm always looking to set the mark every year, but still, I still was able to do that, keep that kind of production, and still be able to service my clients at a high level, because that's what it's about. It's not necessarily about the monetary gains for me, because the relationships are more valuable and more important.
Yeah.
I'm bringing value to the people that I serve. How am I elevating and uplifting those people to be able to chase their dreams and live out their natural God-given talents and abilities and whatever they share? And I didn't even talk about this, but I do coaching and stuff like that as well with people, and it's wealth coaching for me. It's and I do that even in my business practice. When I'm talking to you, I'm like, hey, what's the plan? What's your goals? Not what's my goals. What's your goals? What's your intention with the investment that you're trying to make? Whether it's your first time buying a home, or whether it's your second home or investment property, or whatever. What are your goals? What's your short term and long term? I need to understand you so I can better service you, so I can better be a partner to you in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, right? Because if my goals are in alignment in my business to my clientele, guess what's going to happen? It's always going to flourish, even when there are things going on. And that's the biggest takeaway that I took from a lot of this, is like, I got to be able to pivot. And also the biggest thing is, and I love my sister again for how she started our conversation. For me, it's education, understanding laws, understanding what abilities and what's out there for me. And then a big thing for me in my coaching business is that I tell people all the time, my clients, like, look, everything that you have to be who you want to be is already inside of you. It's just been waiting for you to say, hey, I'm locked in. I see you, I hear you, I want to now see this manifest. And so for me, that's the goal. Like, let's stop making excuses. You know, I think my wife says sometimes, she's like, man, you're a little harsh on stuff. I was like, listen, I just don't have time. I don't have time for excuses. And it's not that I don't have. I think we have to be able to understand that I don't believe in failure. What failure is to me is a lesson that you needed to learn so you can excel to where you're trying to go. So
Yeah.
take the lesson, learn it, pivot, adjust, whatever word you want to use. Don't be down on yourself. Give yourself some grace.
Yeah. Please.
God gives us that, because clearly we're all sinners. So for me, it's like, listen, like, why am I judging myself so critically? Like, I should be able to understand I'm going to make some decisions that aren't necessarily going to pan out. What can I do to learn from it? How can I adjust? How can I apply it in my day-to-day walk as being a man, a husband, a father, and also, you know, a business person, and most importantly, a man of God's, because that's important for me. I have to have that stuff in alignment for me to be able to do what I'm trying to do. So that's what I do.
Montel, you said something, and I see the conversation shifting. Right, we've been talking about adjustment, but the adjustment has been up here. Right, I've had to make the adjustment up here, not necessarily the brick and mortar, not necessarily my processes. It's been having to adjust my thinking as time adjusts, and I hope that people have really woke up to the fact things are not going to go back to the way they used to be, right? This world has changed forever. And it has been the ability to change and make the adjustment up here that has allowed individuals that I know to keep moving forward. If we don't keep making the shift up here, and the shift never changed, the changes in thinking and our approach, it never is going to stop. It's going to always evolve, especially because we don't know what's going to be happening over the next 6 to 12 months. I was talking to a senator like 2 days ago, man. He was saying, you know, when the pandemic first happened, he was like, you know, we'll be back in 2 weeks. You know, it make it work. He was like, yo, I had no idea. 18 months later, we still be trying to figure this out. Caress, I want to start with you again. I want to ask, what has kept your mindset? What has kept you from? What has kept you? That is such bad English. I was about to say a double negative. Why have you been able to keep your mind changing, keep your thinking progressing? You know, what's been the thing, the fire that's been beneath your belly that says, you know what, I'm still willing to adjust? Because some people, they don't want to adjust. They want to hold on to what was and wait for stuff to turn back around. But there's got to be something that's allowing your mind to keep pushing and keep changing.
That's such a wonderful question. And you know what? It's so funny because I honestly have to say that if you're not able to constantly adapt and your mind's not able to be fluid, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Ooh.
Things are constantly changing. Analytical numbers are constantly being thrown. In order, if you look at project models from the beginning of what Google was to what Google is today, if you look at the project numbers from what Amazon was to what Amazon is today, if you look at Facebook started from the beginning from a social network platform to now multimedia and offering all these different facets of business. If you are not able to be fluid, entrepreneurship is not for you. If you entrepreneurship is not for you, you have to be able to morph and be able to make quick, decisive, educated decisions to be able to thrive. Because if you don't, guess what? There are hundreds of us waiting for that opportunity, and we're going to take advantage of it if it comes. So you have to be quick, agile like a cheetah, ready to go after your prey. Because if you don't, this business thing is vicious. There are many people who align themselves with wonderful principles and ethics. There's so many more out there that don't. And if you aren't ready in your industry, if you aren't ready in your market, you'll be eaten alive. So, and if you don't learn this lesson the first time, by the second or third time, you'll get it, that you have to be able to be palpable, workable, flexible, being able to be ready to make quick business decisions. For those who are undecisive and hop in and out and not sure, you're going to have a hard time because you have got to be able to be committed to your vision, committed to your product or your idea. But one thing I can suggest, and one thing I can say that I've been advising to some of the businesses that I mentor, I work with, which I've talked to you, I'm a business mentor for a Scooter Institute here, and I also run a model called the Business Roundtable. We mentor and we support approximately 250, I think we've got up to 300 businesses that are not only in Pensacola, but also across the nation. One of the things that I've been able to find and we've that's worked for the businesses, and here's your secret, here's your good drop of jewel information to try in your business. And I challenge all businesses that are watching today to do this. Watch my words, philanthropy. Oh my God. Surprise. What is that? That is not a financial number. That is not a PowerPoint presentation. This is not something you need to invest in. It's called philanthropy.
Wow.
I gave a challenge out to businesses. All the businesses that I mentor, we talk about the business logistics, but we also talk about what you can give back to your community. And what we have found is that when you put time to invest in your business and section out philanthropy, whatever that might look like, businesses see increase in numbers and sales, even during the pandemic. So when you're thinking that perhaps people don't have the money to come and invest in your business, because they see what you're doing for the community, because they see what you're doing for the neighbor. So that back to school rally that you didn't think you were going to have to buy the backpacks to support the community, guess what that just did? Public visibility, commitment to service within your community, and it shows your investment, and it shows your investment to where you live. People love that. People are looking for that. They want to know that your business is more than a business model, that you commit to service, you committed to your community. So if you're able to find a way to incorporate philanthropy, one of the businesses I'm going to share with is Taste Buds in Pensacola. I put a challenge out there to them, and I told them just some small philanthropy efforts that I had done, hoping to encourage them. They did a challenge and asked some people to come and do donations over, I think it was like less than 1 month. They raised $5,000 for the community.
Wow.
Yes, and saw an increase of sales so much he was able to come home from his 9-to-5 job and work full time in his storefront, him and his wife. This is what happens when you plant seeds, and not only in your business model, but within your community.
Yeah.
So these will be things that will sustain businesses. You're not going to see them on the project models going up and down on charts. You're not going to see your cash register right off the part. But people will come back and remember what you did for them, how you them, how you invested in them, and that will float you along and give you the grace that other people won't have.
Yeah. You are so on point. I think the days of profit are over. This pandemic has really exposed who are in it for their own personal gain or those who are in it to help benefit people. And I don't know a customer, a church member, a business partner that I've had a relationship with that the relationship remains strong or remain steady over time because it was more than just about profit. It was about us being able to build one another, strengthen one another, and ultimately strengthen that community that's around us. You hit God, Caress, you hit it on point. And Montel, you said it too. You started saying earlier, how my model isn't going in anymore just to see what I can get out of it. I want to be able to coach you, build you, help you, so that you're able to grow. I think John Maxwell said one of the keys of success. I think he had 3 keys. One of the 3 keys of success was sowing seeds to benefit other people. Right, that has to be the model. And we're gonna get back to something you said earlier, Caress, but I'm gonna get back to that later. But what kind of shift has that had to make in your business model, Montel, to go from just profit to help benefiting others? What has had to be the shift in your mindset?
I mean, it's funny that I follow up questions after Caress, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like this has always been in my business DNA.
Wow.
I think it's important that you know who you are and what you stand for, and I'm one of those people that's in, whether it's my coaching business, my real estate business, or my private business for my family, or even my family, because I'm having these conversations every day. Because I'm a person that stands for you. Not only do I stand for myself, Montel, the man, the black man that's come from where I come from, but I stand for others. And I think for me, that's very important to what I do every day. If you can't make that determination that it's not just about how much money I'm gonna get from this transaction, for me, it's the investment for long-term relationships. And everything that I've done in my business The reason why I've gotten a financial gain success is because that wasn't my priority. Yes, business, you want that to be, you're in business to make money, you're in business to, it's P&Ls, all that stuff. That's important. Yes.
Yeah.
Commerce and obviously for that monetary benefit to be able to take care of a circle and take care of our families. But most importantly, if you're not in the ability to service and help people, what's the purpose? Why are you doing it? So for me, that's always been an important focus because I get phone calls from people every day. Hey, I want to run something by you, whether it's my neighbors, whether it's, I've talked to the mayor a couple of weeks ago about some things or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, for me, it's like I want to show up for people and show up in my presence, but show up, willing to lend a hand or have a conversation or get things going towards something because it's not about my personal gain from it. My personal gain is watching you excel. I love seeing people win. I love, seeing people get goals, accomplish things that they never thought that they accomplished in their life. I like seeing, people go out for things and chase things that they were like, hey man, I don't even know where this came from, but like I love the fact that you're willing to stand with me here and educate me and take the time and remind me that hey, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. And that's important. So for me, that's important. That's the basis. Yeah. I have to be able to take that stand for you and walk you through it. And my relationship investment is important. So I might work with somebody for 6 to 12 months before they go out and actually get to a point of buying a home. Right. And a lot of that is credit, financial education. A lot of we don't always get. In our day-to-day conversations, although in the Fleming household, we talk about these things. We talk about these things not only with mom and pop and how we do our day-to-day finances and how we run the house, but we talk about this educating our kids so they can see it, so they know what it is. They see their own accounts because every time mom and daddy get paid, they get paid. We show them their accounts. We're about educating them, the financial literacy, talking about credit, talking about all of these things. I do it with my clients. I want them to understand the importance of what they're doing, so that when they get these gifts and learn it, they implement it in their everyday walks. They help their children excel and educate them, and then they're repeating the same cycle. So I'm not just educating one person, I'm educating hopefully their family. I'm educating, the next person that's attached to them because, hey, I talked to Montel. Montel got me started in getting this. I got a 1 to 4 family now. And now I'm going to do some other stuff with them, right? And so for me, that's what it is. That's the value. And then long term down the line, the money comes because I put seeds in. I'm planting those seeds into people every day, right? That's the goal.
And that's what when I'm teaching pastors and leaders, I talk about the Leah side of ministry and the Rachel side of ministry, right? Jacob got tricked into marrying Leah. And he had to stick it out with Leah for 7 more years in order for him to get a hold of Rachel, right? But the Bible says this about Jacob. He loved Leah. He loved Rachel more than he loved Leah. I gotta love the part that I don't want in order for me to have the part that I do want, right? And most folks don't want to go down the Leah side. They don't want to do the dirty work of helping people clean up their credit, help people repair those relationships, help people get the stuff behind the scenes in order, the education, all the sacrifices that it takes, right? Some people don't want to do that. As we are replanting our church in the community, I've been around here, I've been serving this community 14 years, right? But I'm in another church and another plant. I've had to go back to doing this stuff. We bought breakfast for all of the schools in our district, all the principals, the high school, the middle school, all 3 elementary schools. We sent breakfast for the first couple of days for all the teachers. We're still doing the book bag stuff. Although I had a name established, I felt to go back to that philanthropy work that allow us to reestablish. Now, I don't know any of these people. They might not ever show up, but I know one day, right, that those seeds are going to come back. They're going to come back. It's just a principle. But we have to get back. I think what I've been pushing a lot of my pastors and a lot of leaders that when we come back this year, come back with some substance, not just growing your membership, not just increasing your budget every year. What kind of long-term investment are you making back into the community that you're serving? If you invest in the community and invest in the people, the payback is inevitable. It's priceless. You can't count it out. Elman, you were going to say something. I see it.
Yeah, I was I can hear my kids back there, man, just
Oh
going
man,
crazy.
no, bro, you good? Don't worry about that, man. We all got kids. Every one of us got kids.
I know. But I just want to say I agree with everything that has been said. I mean, this has been just phenomenal, the wisdom that's coming from this group. But service, I feel like, just like you said, Caress, like it's not one of those things where it is a optional item on your to-do list for yourself or for your business.
Yeah.
It is to the point now where it's a must.
It's a must.
I mean, like, and the thing about it, I feel like there's a part of the world that's awakening to this. Because if you look on, like, for example, social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, people are putting information out there for free.
Yeah, yes, they are.
And if you are at the point where everything is about you, I can know this, or only my group of people can know this, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Because just like you said, it's a principle, it's a law. As you give, it'll be given back to you. If you don't understand that, if you don't know that, and if you aren't willing to accept that, then you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it is that the real principle is that in order for you to grow your business, you have to be willing to give something.
Yes, you do.
And in a lot of cases, whether or not it's giving physically of yourself, but if it's giving intelligently, if it's giving educationally, those are things that you can't necessarily see, but you are sowing so many seeds out there. It's almost like an investor. If I'm going to invest my money in something, I'm going to invest it in, some money here with this group. I'm going to invest it in this stock, I'm not going to know what kind of return I'm going to get on that, but I know I'm going to get a return.
Yeah.
If I'm holding on to everything myself, it stops and ends with me. And the thing about it is that it's an essential part of your business. So for me, I do. Me and my wife do this. We do this pop-up on at this coffee shop down the street where we talk about real estate, and we just talk to people about the things that they need to know in terms of real estate. I do these. I also do talks with the board down here in terms of business. Now, I'm not doing that because they have to give me something. I'm doing it for free.
Yeah.
I'm giving this information out there because you never know what connection will lead you to the next connection and will lead you. But even more than that, the feeling that I get, the gratitude that I get from giving of myself and giving somebody, just like Montel said, that aha moment. Yes, I get it now. So even with my coaching clients, I love it when people say, man, I needed to hear that. Wow, I really needed that. Or, for example, when I help somebody set their business up and they're like, thank you, because my goal is to protect you, my person, my client. So not only don't want to protect your business, don't want to protect but I want to help you learn how to protect you. I want you to learn how to protect your business, learn how to protect what's on the inside of you so you can continue to grow and develop. And that's what it's about, really. I mean, it's really about becoming more knowledgeable. I mean, that's our responsibility, to become more knowledgeable. But as we gain that knowledge, learn how to give it out to the point where you have no concern about how it's going to be returned because you know it's going to return. And that's the main point. That's the main point that I want to get out.
I ain't gonna hold y'all much longer, but I want to say something. Caress pointed something out earlier, and it's what I got a book coming out next month, but my next book that I'm working on for business folks. My next book that I'm writing is about I'm calling it Creating a Blessing in the Workplace. That's what I'm kind of playing around with the title. But everybody isn't built to be an entrepreneur, right? Everybody doesn't have to start a freaking business, okay? Some of us need to be great workers, man. We need to learn how to be great employees. We got to learn how to add value to the company without it making us feel devalued, right? Just because you're on the top doesn't mean that you don't have value. Just because you aren't at the table making all the decisions at the table making all the decisions doesn't mean that you don't have value. And what is becoming increasingly frustrating for me as a business owner is the employees that I have. They late Come on, preach grace. They ain't dressed properly. Come on, preach grace. Your hair ain't cut. Come on, preach again, grace, right? You don't know how to work with people. You're playing games trying to set up somebody else. You playing games trying to set up somebody else when I asked you to get this project done. Lord have mercy, right? So there's a work ethic missing from this generation because everybody's been focused on being an entrepreneur. And like Caress said, if you can't make quick decisions, if you can't be ever evolving, it's okay not to own. Caress said this. It's okay not to own your own. It's okay. I mean, somebody got to work, right? Somebody got to work, right? Go ahead, Caress.
Don't waste your money. Don't waste my money. Don't waste my time. Don't waste somebody else's investment. Don't do it, because what you're doing, entrepreneurs, you sink so much money, and there's investors out there. And if you're not committed, if you don't have these attributes, you got to be real with yourself. But you know something, Corey, I wanted just to throw in that's very important with this philanthropy thing. That if there's any small businesses, baby businesses that are looking and thinking about jumping, when you do this, when you tie in all the components that have been discussed today, including philanthropy, there's a beautiful thing that birthed out of this. And it's called the power of influence. When you are working in your business model, when you have devoted philanthropy to the community, you get this wonderful thing called the power of influence.
Yes, you
and
do.
Somebody's watching what they're like, well, what does that mean? That means that whatever you're walking in, you have a divine interest and a blessing where you can be an influence in your industry. When they're coming and they're looking for people who are an expert in you fill in the blank, they're going to be coming looking for you. When they have questions, when they're looking for advice, when they're looking for counsel, the power of influence allows you to work in different places, give advice, suggestions, and it can be a blessing, also be very dangerous depending on who you are and what your principles are, what your ethics are. But this is something that once you walk through these steps, you are able to gain this beautiful thing called the power of influence. Why am I appointed to this board? Where did that come from? Why did I have this interest? Why did I get this opportunity to be featured in this magazine, Power of Influence? All of a sudden, these people are coming to me and I'm being able to put my thoughts, my viewpoints, my perspective on things that I normally wouldn't have a table at. There's open doors are coming to you. That's called the power of influence. When you are able to match these things up together, that's where these things up. So where you weren't receiving things financially, guess what you're getting? Favor. Guess what you're getting? So maybe it's not a dollar value that you normally were receiving, but you just got your face on an article in an interview because of the power of influence. Your philanthropy opening up a door now. You're now sitting on 2 boards because you in the community doing that work. So these are things that I like to give, these little nuggets for budding entrepreneurs who are true to the game and committed to the game and want to get to where they want to be at. When you're able to Lego block these things up, this is how you sustain yourself through the epidemic, through the pandemic, and for whatever else is going to come through, because it will be a constant cycle of this and you'll be blessed.
Yeah. Influence goes a lot further than money ever freaking will. It goes a lot further than money ever will. And then when you got the influence, if you ever need the resource, that's what the influence is for. So you can pull that kind of resource in. And even if it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for those who are employees as well. Bring relationship and opportunity. Helping others while you're on the job will develop your influence to a degree where you'll be able to influence those at the top for those who are voiceless at the bottom. Go ahead, Montel. I want to give you an opportunity to say anything, or L, chime in. I want to give you an opportunity to chime in.
No, I mean, again, it keeps hitting out with these nuggets, and I'm glad, because I almost feel like it was intentful that the conversation steered toward the way that we're having this, right? Jay-Z always talks about, obviously everybody wants to be the boss, right? Until the check comes.
To the check comes, right?
So I always, I caution people about that, because there is a place for everyone, but in order to be, I feel, a great boss or a great entrepreneur, you need to understand what it's like to follow. I had great mentors and great people that helped me along my path to this entrepreneurial journey. before I decided to walk out on faith and believe and go in what I wanted in my destiny. But I understood that. And when I was working under those tutelages and those businesses, it was about making sure that those businesses were successful. It was about adding value to the teams that I worked on. And when I became a manager and running those businesses, it was important to me that, hey, I took it as it was my own, even though it wasn't my own, because it mattered, right?
Yeah.
Success of the business mattered. The team that I was running, the 60 plus people that I was managing, they mattered. So in order for me to understand that walk in that path, I need to understand all of it. You know, it's like you get that car, right? You look under the hood. You need to know that it runs, that, you know, everything is good. You check the oil, you do all of these things, right? It's important. It matters. So when you're doing this and you're walking on this journey, you got to understand that everything that you do, whether you think it's minimum or not, it matters.
Yeah.
The phone calls, the conversations, how you empower people, how you lead people. My wife and I talk about that all the time, about, you know, her team and different things. And I'm like, look, I said, you're the standard. So if they see you leading and rolling up your sleeves and getting in there and doing things that, oh, well, why do you do that? You got this luxurious title and all this other stuff. Why are you what some people would view as lowering your standards? I don't. I look at it as, I'm the man that's the name's on the door, right? There's nothing in this business that's not above my standards. I need to understand how it works, how it functions, what needs to be done, every task, every person's responsibilities. That's all important, right? And when my kids, the value I give them is I need them to see that. I don't want you thinking you're gonna come in being no president.
Right.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna need you to work in the mail room.
That's right.
You know, let's work on some marketing. If you want to get in here and run, because y'all good at all this TikToking and all this other stuff. Let's add value. Let's get some social media game on. You can do this. Right. Let's do this. Let's do some other stuff first before you come over here, because you got to crawl before you walk, and that's where it starts. So for me, it's just about, you know, it's not that I don't want people to be entrepreneurial. I want you to, if that's something that's in your heart and your desires, but understand that it's work. You know, I think all of us can tell you that, you know, the gray hairs that I do have, okay, and some of them gone now because I done cut them down a little bit, but you know, but the ones I do have is from, obviously, like Caress said, is like making decisions, and I have no problem doing it. I understand that's my calling, so I have no problem pivoting, making decisions quickly, doing what needs to be done. Look, it's on me. So if this thing's gonna run and it's gonna function and it's gonna be, you know, successful, then I got to be willing to make a quick decision and make some decisions that sometimes it's uncomfortable, but look, this is the part of the job, right? But as long as I understand why I'm doing it, understanding that, you know, there's levels to this, and I still have mentors in my business walk, which I'm so proud to see, you know, Caress doing that in her walk, as well as helping, giving back, and helping other business owners. I think that's important, right? We got to be able to each one teach one, right? It's important. So for me, that's something that I just take from this, that I think it's important to understand and put that out there to people. It's not that I'm trying to dim your light. I want your light to shine, but let it shine when it's ready. It's okay to, you know, see the harvest a little bit later.
Yeah.
And not get everything right now, because we're so instant gratification, instant rewards. I don't want that. I'm happy. I think that where I'm at right now, it was designed and it was destined by God and ordained by Him and manifested through my actions and my work for it to get to this level. And now I'm reaping that harvest. But I've never lost focus. I'm not too high on no pedestal to think I'm better than anybody. And I'm still going to work just as hard tomorrow that I worked today or yesterday or the day before. Right?
Yeah.
That's the principle.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, y'all, we've been hanging out. It's over an hour. We're going to come. I promise we'll be back next month. All y'all got to come back next month. So mark the third Sunday off. That third Sunday in October, we got to come back for a Better Business panel.
I'm down.
You're down because I want to keep doing. I want to come doing this once a month. Again, I have a individuals in my church who are rebuilding, who are rebranding. Individuals in my community who are rebuilding, rebranding. I think we are all in that. There's so many all in that vein, in that space right now. And I think the more we offer some advice, we offer some of those nuggets. Caress, Lord Jesus, you're just brilliant, sis. Brilliant, sis. We keep offering those nuggets. It's going to encourage individuals to keep going forward. Being a business owner, It's not for the faint at heart. It is not easy in any regard. And we just need to continue to put this kind of information out there to help people keep pressing forward. All right. Listen, Caress, Montel, El Boogie, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. We'll be back on the third Sunday of this month, y'all. I mean, third Sunday of next month in October for another better business panel. They'll be back. We're going to be dropping some nuggets. I'm going to be focusing on increasing our influence, increasing our networks. All right, y'all, enjoy your Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody joining in. I love y'all. Have a great day. Be blessed. We'll talk with all y'all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.